After somehow making 3 connections in one day with 2 massive delays, I've somehow found myself on the last flight of the day with the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 from St. Louis to Tulsa. It has been quite an adventure, nearly missing 2 connections and almost getting stranded twice, but today we're here to have a peaceful flight and reflect on all this as we enjoyed the ride home. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Welcome everybody to St. Louis International Airport. After coming in on another Southwest Airlines flight from New Orleans, I was relatively confident that I'll be able to make this Southwest flight, as Southwest has always done a good job holding flights for connecting passengers. While I did have this going in my favor, I was in the back of the plane on my inbound flight as the connection for that flight was also extremely tight, so feel free to check out part 3 of Did I Make My Connection for the full rundown on how crazy this connection was. As we're running gate E14, my name comes over the PA, and here's exactly what happened. I'm almost there! Safe to say that I completely lucked out on this day. What a wallop it has been. Nevertheless, the stress is over and it's time to relax. Our aircraft for this joyride will be November 401 Whiskey November, a 22-year-old Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700. Let's go ahead and get on board and relax a little bit, everybody. I nearly made it on this flight, so let's just go ahead and push back, everybody. Be sure to stay on the lookout for all the in-flight videos, as those will be coming out very soon. And here we go for our takeoff runway 12 left from St. Louis, everybody. I really hope you all enjoyed this takeoff, as it was absolutely fantastic. Let's climb up to our rather high cruising altitude for this flight of 40,000 feet, everybody. Alrighty everybody, welcome to 40,000 feet, which I thought was a little high considering this was only going to be about a 50-minute flight or so, but nevertheless, they're doing what works best, and that's exactly what we're here to reflect on today. So let's just go ahead and get into this in-flight assessment, everybody. So first and foremost, what a day it's been. I really hope all of you have enjoyed all this content from the Indianapolis, Dayton, Cincinnati trip. It certainly was quite a wallop for a weekend trip, and I absolutely had a blast with it. I mean, obviously the circumstances were a little tight in the moment, but obviously looking back at it now, it's been really fun to piece together the Did I Make My Connection videos, and obviously all the model store and the Cincinnati plane spotting, the Dayton Air Force Museum, all of that was super fun to put together. So it's been really fun. I really hope all of you have enjoyed this. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Tulsa St. Louis route, as we have never featured this route on this channel, of course. And as I continue to strive towards my goal of flying all the routes out of Tulsa International Airport, I definitely want to highlight each and every one of them. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. So Tulsa St. Louis has been operated for a very long time, dating back to the original days of TWA, as they flew quite a variety of aircraft types on this service. But more recently, from what I can recall, they mainly flew the DC-9, MD-80, and Boeing 717s on this service when they were operating it rather consistently, 5 daily flights or so to the Omega hub that they had at St. Louis. Southwest did come in as competition in the mid-1980s, and they started twice daily service or so over to St. Louis, and they both went at it for quite some time. So once TWA merged with American Airlines in 2001, American Airlines took over the service, and I believe they ended it in 2005 after doing like 2 or 3 daily between regional jets and even a few mainline aircraft at that time. And I believe they brought it back in 2007, and that was shortly cut thereafter when the 2008 recession arrived, and that certainly was the nail in the coffin for American TWA's legacy on that service. Southwest, of course, kept it through the whole time. I think it's always really been 2 daily, definitely over the last decade or so is what Southwest has facilitated to the service. But the St. Louis hub is definitely an essential function, and I talked about this in the previous trip report, so feel free to check it out, but just kind of a brief rundown. It's so essential for markets like Tulsa that need connections onto the East Coast on Southwest. You know, cities like Atlanta, Washington, Boston, LaGuardia, and many others that some of the other airports in the Southwest network don't have as many flights of, like Dallas Love Field, Houston Hobby, and other airports like that. So St. Louis certainly has a critical function, and that's why most of these cities do have double daily flights to St. Louis. So overall, it's a really cool operation. I'm definitely very glad to get to feature it here on the channel today. So very glad to get to fly on it for the first time here, and then I'll be flying it many more times as it's turned into a very convenient connecting opportunity for both leisure purposes and actual function purposes, and you'll see that here in the future as well. So I really like the Southwest route from Southwest to St. Louis. It's certainly been really awesome to utilize in my travels, and I'm excited to get to feature that more here in the near future. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Southwest's 737-700 fleet, as this is certainly turning into quite a situation with the fleet. So as you all know, we talked previously about the Southwest 737 MAX situation, how that's turned into a delayed, I hate to say dumpster fire, but you go as far as to say that for not only their revenue, but also just the aircraft deliveries in general. So now Southwest is going to be hanging on to these Boeing 737-700s a little bit longer. Luckily, I've got to fly my fair share of them, and you'll see more of them in upcoming videos. But I really do like these Boeing 737-700s. The lower back padding on the old interior is fantastic, among many other cool features. The windows are very distinctive as well, so I think that's really cool. But overall, yes, they're showing their age, but there's still so many cool components to these aircraft that is certainly irreplaceable, I would argue. So between the catty corner seats and obviously, like I said, the lower back padding, there's a bunch to like with this interior, and I'm certainly going to miss it very much once they terminate it here in the near future. I think they're going to go well beyond 2024 and possibly even beyond 2025, it looks like, at this rate. It just depends on what happens with Southwest's 737 MAX deliveries, and we'll just have to see how they outline all this. So overall, it's been quite the wallop here for Southwest, but we'll see what's going to happen. Speaking of which, once again, this day was a wallop. I know that I mentioned that once already, but I really wanted to nail home how fun this was to put together, and I really hope all of you enjoyed this content. So of course, we'll have the conclusion here, and then we'll be going into our next trip, which will be a day trip to Denver. So we'll have 2 Southwest flights for that, and then we're going to be speeding right into the Pacific Northwest trip from the summer of 2023. So I really hope all of you are excited for it. We have so many cool videos from the Alaska First Class Trip Report, the plane spotting in Canada, model stores, aircraft museums, 4 props in one trip is super cool. So we have so much to dive into with that trip, and I'm really excited for all of that. So I really hope each and every one of you are as well. And feel free to check out any content you missed from this trip, including the Cincinnati plane spotting, Dayton Air Force Museum, MTS Aviation models, all the trip reports, checking out Spirit and Frontier for the first time, among others. Again, I had a bunch of fun on this trip, and I really enjoyed it, and I really hope all of you enjoyed the content for it. And again, splitting up these 2 Southwest trip reports wasn't probably what I was initially intending to do, but to explain the story a little bit better, I thought that made more sense here. And we got to talk a little bit more about the Tulsa-St. Louis route in conjunction with obviously how, the function of the Southwest 737-700s have been in the fleet. So I'm trying to think if there's any other topics I want to mention, but again, St. Louis, really cool operation. Excited for that airport video, which will be coming out in the future, so definitely stay patient, stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, really cool trip. Really enjoyed this so much, and we'll talk about it more in the conclusion video, so I hope all of you are excited for this. But let's go ahead and get into our landing here at Tulsa International Airport, everybody. I'm going to verify, but I believe we landed on runway 18 left, but it could have been 36, right? Yes, 18 left here for today's arrival. Pretty standard. We came right over the northeast Tulsa area, and then we made a very simple 45-degree bank pretty much over Owasso, which took us onto runway 18 left. So I really hope all of you enjoyed this. Again, Southwest always does a fantastic job. Feel free to check out some of my first Southwest trip reports for more information on the various types of cabins, their operations, their prices, and so on. But I got a really good deal on this flight. I believe it was 100 from New Orleans, St. Louis to Tulsa, which is really fair. And I definitely very much enjoyed this flight. I had a great time, and I'm looking super forward to the next flights on Southwest and many more to come. But nevertheless, here we go for our landing on the runway 18 left at Tulsa International Airport. I really hope you all enjoyed this, as it's going to be an awesome landing. Let's go ahead and touch down, everybody. And welcome to Tulsa International Airport, everybody. We have a rather short taxi over to our gate today, so let's go ahead and taxi on over there. Thank you all so much for watching this trip report on the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 from St. Louis to Tulsa. Be sure to stay on the lookout for all the in-flight videos to come from this leg of the trip, all the various content as well from the Cincinnati plane spotting, the Dayton Air Force Museum, NMTS aviation models, and so much more to come for future trips ahead. But nevertheless, that'll do it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. My name is Redriveraviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do you love and love what you do? My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.